as being one of the critical components in that technology sphere to enable this connectivity, to enable what is happening in the digital space right now, and make sure that we play a significant part in the entire pandemic situation. And we are proud of the fact that Western Digital has been deemed in a lot of countries as an essential technology factor, enabling various essential sectors from healthcare and so on and so forth, right? So my take is that without technology, I find it really hard how we would have been able to overcome this situation. We still haven't overcome the situation. We're still at the, we're still at the pivotal point, right? I think we still will have to continue to take all precautions as a consumer, as an industry. But as Western Digital, I feel extremely proud about us being at a core of this technology enablement drive.
Very true, sir.
That's from my
So,
side, Ron.
yeah, yeah, very true, sir, and very insightful knowledge about the overall current situation about the technology market. So, moving to our next panelist, Sanjeev, sir, I have for you this query. You have seen the evolution of distribution business in India since 90s, and you have contributed for its overall growth as well. So, do you see the current situation is one of the toughest days so far in the Indian distribution business history? And what are the major challenges currently as a distribution houses you are facing today?
Yes, I believe that it is one of the toughest times that we are going through in the distribution business. And I think this problem is being faced not just by distributors, it is all over the country, all over the world. In terms of businesses, I think that every business has got impacted. When I say every business, I would say 90% of businesses have got impacted. And we have to fight back. We have to ensure that we pull ourselves together and come back into the business norm as fast as we can. The impact on Iris, particularly, at least I can give you the figures for Iris. We have normally been billing 100 crore every month. And in the month of April, it dropped down to 11 crore, which is a drastic drop. And it has been there because of supply chain issues. It has been there because China was closed down, deliveries were not available from our vendors. And although right now I feel that with the situation opening up, the business will pick up. In this month, we are expecting to bill out 50 crore. And I think that is the kind of ratios which most of our partners will also experience. Uh, and it has impacted all of us. It's going to impact all of us, and we have to fight it and make sure that we come out of it. The second piece I would like to suggest to all our partners is that your major focus today should become on expense control. We don't know what is going to hit in the future about into our margins. I know that in our case, this is easier said than done. When you try and review all the expenses, it's not easy to cut them down. But I have three major heads of expenses that we experience in Iris. One is finance cost, the other is salaries, and the third is overheads. Finance cost is going to become very big for most of us. At least in the case of Iris, we are spending 20 crores a year on finance cost. We are spending 15 crore a year on salaries and 10 crores on overheads. And it really brings home the point that we are working for the banks, we are working for other financial institutions. And the way to fight that is to actively try and cut down whatever limits that you have from banks. We all celebrate when we get limits. We all try hard to get bank limits. We pledge our properties, we pledge everything that we have. But at the end of it, we find that the limit, when it comes, it eats into the bottom line because of the high interest payments that we are doing. So we have actively decided that we must remain within the OEM limits. We should try and minimize bank borrowing, and I think this applies to all of us. Second, salaries. One way is to cut down salaries, but it's a difficult thing to do. And we are extremely emotional about it. So we have not cut down people's salaries, but we are saying that because we have lost so many days, we may adjust vacation entitlements going forward so that we can make up this lost time. And the third area is overheads. Overheads is a big amount which comes into everyone's thing, and it comes in where it creeps in slowly. And we are now looking at every single expense that we have, and that's what I would suggest to all our partners. For example, in telecom, we were allowing 1,000 rupees per person per month as an entitlement. And it's only when we started digging further, we found that there are plans today which give you for 1,500 rupees, Airtel gives you unlimited usage on the phones. And we've suggested to all our employees to change over from 10,000 rupees a month, 10,000 rupees a year plan to 1,500 a year plan. In terms of overheads, look at all the offices you have, see if you can consolidate, cut down on travel. Travel is an expensive game. To give you an example, and the multinationals that we deal with, one worldwide conference, if they have in the US, where they invite partners from across the world, if they save one conference, and they are doing that now, they save almost 100 crore because each conference costs about 10 to 12 million dollars. So these are the areas where we have to control as we go forward, just to be sure that our profitability and company's existence does not get impacted. Bottom line message to our partners is remain within the distributor limit, get money from the customers as fast as you can. This is the time when you can go and even ask the customers to reduce their credit periods and improve your liquidity. That way, I feel we will be able to overcome this crisis going forward.
Yeah. Very true,
Ranjan.
sir, and very generous to know the sufferings as a distribution house you have having and taking all measures despite all challenges. You are supporting your staff and the entire system. So very generous to you, sir. So moving to our next part with Vinay, sir, I would like to know about component business as like one of the pillars for Indian IT market. We all know that component is very important part for IT business. Since the pandemic has impacted all of us, what has been the two major challenges for this market? You know very well about the challenges, and how do you see the suffering of small resellers or retailers across the country, like in Nehru Place or Leamington Road? If you can share something about that.
I think first, I think it's a pleasure that everyone is here and all those who are listening to this conversation. I wish all of them remain safe. To address this pandemic or going forward, I think let's look it from a positive perspective. I think what we have lost is 20% of the current time frame. If I calculate a year period, we just lost about 20% of the year. There are a lot of economical and financial impact. Sanjiv sir has already clarified in detail about how everyone has to take the cautious. But the positive side of all this thing is the business is not going to go anywhere. Looking from the component market, an end user today realizes that his phone is not going to be his working device. He needs a standalone PC. Okay, so may it be a desktop, a laptop, or any format. But the core is that he needs a PC. He needs a good network. He needs a larger screen. So when I look at from the ASUS point of view, I see it very optimistic ways. Like the user today is going to change his home setup much differently. I would need a bigger screen to work on. I would need a better connectivity network to be used there. So there are a lot of products, a lot of things that will happen. We cannot remain conventional on saying motherboard has been there. Yes, motherboard will keep growing. There is surely not going to be an impact. It is just a 20% of the overall time frame that we are lost. But recovery at the period that we are currently in this lockdown is not the best of the period. The growth of business is still to come in the quarter three. So I think all my partners or all those who are looking to the component business with the skeptical thoughts, no, there is nothing to be gloomy about. It's going to recover and bounce back because the need of a PC is not going to go away. The point number
Correct.
two is, I think Sanjeev sir has already mentioned, every system integrator, every reseller has to look at his cost, because the more healthier he is, the better profit he makes, the better reserves he keeps. I know today they are going to pay expenses without having any revenue or income, but that kind of an impact we all as business entrepreneurs have to brace to. This is something not that is someone has been gifted. We all would say that we are in the same boat. No, we are not in the same boat. All the three speakers are facing different kind of problems here. All the participants have different situations. So the cause of the problem is one, but the boat is not the same. Everyone has to row his own boat, has to ensure that he and his team is safe. They can bounce back. They have to plan well. Cost cutting or cost managing is the key to survive from now.
Correct, sir. So, you have been watching component business, and this is the right message for the all the partners who are into the component business, to be patient and to be hopeful and positive that market will bounce back. So,
Yes.
sir, this is our completion of our first set of queries which were on the challenges what we are having currently. So now moving to a second set of queries which is based on the opportunities, because the seeing the opportunities will definitely help us in working towards a new goal in coming days. To start with the opportunities, sort of things for the coming days, Khalid sir, I would like to ask you first for this segment. What are the new opportunity you see for channel partners in storage market, because you are the leader in storage market? And do you think there will be shift in adoption or demands from all consumer segments? How do you plan to cater this emerging demand as per the trends you will see post lockdown?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, before I move and talk about the opportunities that could come in, that could exist in the post COVID-19 scenario, I think one of the most important things that I want to mention to all the partners out there is about mindset. Right? Is about making sure that there is a thought process out there in the mind which tells them that there is an immense opportunity waiting for us as soon as we come out of this scenario, and there genuinely is. Right? There genuinely is a very strong opportunity. These are tough times, as Mr. Sanjiv, Mr. Shetty talked about, right? I mean, there are things that we will have to do to weather this storm out, right? Look at cost control, look at being a little bit more, a little bit more with a thought process of weathering this storm for the next coming couple of weeks, months, whatever time frame that is. But what is surely coming out of this is a tremendous opportunity that exists post the scenario. And when we talk about a segment of storage which Western Digital is associated with, I mean, irrespective of the segment that you look at, when you look at either consumer or startup or the enterprise segment, you'll realize that the data and the content that is being created is like never before, right? We have we see all of us creating a lot of data at this point in time, a lot of content at this point in time, and this content and data is going to be crucial for us when we go forward, right? And I believe as Western Digital, we're in a very strong position. We have a very strong play when it comes to addressing all these segments from product perspective when it comes to storage, right from the consumer to the enterprise segment. And data will be obviously very crucial, right, across the spectrum, whether it is cloud, whether it is your data centers, whether it is your end customers. You will realize that the importance of data is going to be far more than what it was prior to the COVID-19 scenario. I would strongly encourage the channel partners to look at areas which will continue to grow from this data consumption perspective, areas which enable work from home, right? Areas which enable or categories which enable backing up of the data, areas which enable transfer of data between different devices, different segments. And obviously, you will realize an industry-specific thought process is also very, very critical. We'll see certain industries bouncing back a lot more faster in the post-COVID-19 era. Right? Industries such as technology, for example, industries which is going to do with education, industries which are more driven online, right, which enable consumers to adapt the online behavior, they would have a much stronger bounce back than a few of the other industries. And I think having an industry specific focus by the channel partners could also effectively help them to consistently grow their businesses. And identifying the products that fit in those industry segments will be also very, very crucial. But to top it all, I think it's all going to be about how we shape up our mindset. There is uh, as Mr. Shetty said right now. I mean, you'll realize that that we've lost this 20% of time so far. We might lose another 5 or 10%. God knows how fast we are going to overcome this problem. But you'll realize this 20 to 30% of time lost, there could possibly be an opportunity that gets built up and it gets accelerated post COVID-19 era. And that is where we all will have to be very, very optimistic. And I think that's where we are as an industry leader, as a team in India. I believe we are, and particularly in India as a market, we are in a much more advantageous position because we are a very fast and fast growing market. And because of that, I think the partners will have to make sure that they continue to create a mindset that once it opens up, I have a bigger opportunity that I need to address, and there could be a lot more opportunities that they definitely will have to address.
Sure. So it's you bring out the points that we need to look on the opportunities and what had happened, but I'm sure that in the coming days we'll be able to recover those losses. Hope so, and we all moving ahead in the same direction with a positive mindset. Thank you, sir. It's very insightful about the opportunities which we can have. Okay, sir. Sanjiv, sir, I have this for you as an opportunity. In this difficult time, we saw demand in certain segment has grown up many folds because you are a distributor. You might be monitoring what are the trends which will gear up, and you are monitoring very closely. I'm sure about that. So, which are the new verticals you are focusing currently that can add extra growth opportunity for you? And what will be your advice for small partners, resellers who will find a new business in the opportunities which are coming, and you can guide them for the new avenues of resources for them? Sir, your voice is not audible. Sanjiv, sir, your voice is not audible.
All right. I'll tell you what we are doing in terms of new opportunities, and for us as well as for our partners. We are focusing now on healthcare products because that seems to be the need of the hour. And the way this got started is that there was a camera manufacturer in India who came and he said that he would like IRIS to do distribution of their thermal cameras. And we felt that, we are into IT, we are doing items which are big ticket items. Typically, we get orders which are like 50 lakh, 1 crore. And what are we going to do selling cameras? How many cameras will we have to sell to make 1 crore of rupees? And he turned around and he said that, you're thinking of cameras which are like 2,000, 3,000 rupees. But today the scene has changed. The cameras today are 12 lakh, 13 lakh, 15 lakh, that kind of range. So that immediately struck us that is an opportunity that we should enter into. So at the moment, we are offering healthcare packages which consist of thermal cameras. Now, what these cameras, there are 3 types that are available. One is the simple one where you can go up to the camera and it'll take your temperature. Third one is where you have to go to the person who is walking in and physically sticking the camera close to the person and then taking his temperature. And the third variety is where the camera automatically keeps on taking temperatures of various people as they walk in. And only if there is a high fever in any of the passengers or any of the people that are entering the building, the alarm will go off and the camera will tell you that this person's temperature is more than normal. So thermal cameras is one area that we are offering. Second one is thermometers. You got masks, gloves, sanitizers, sanitizing machines. These are all opportunities which are there currently with every office that is going to reopen. They will need this. So, what we are offering today through our partners or to our partners is a package. If there is a customer of theirs who's 25 people, we have a package for 25 people office. Then the 50 people, 50 persons office, 100, 200 persons office. So these packages we have built, and already these packages are available. And I would urge our partners to also make use of these opportunities when they go to their customers so that at least revenue gets retained. Second area which has mushroomed is work from home. The demand for laptops completely went through the ceiling during these last 2 months. And if you now look at the laptops which have gone into these homes, the opportunity is not going to end there because more and more people are going to want these in order to work from home. But every time these laptops go into a home, there are also other opportunities which come up because of that. For example, bandwidth has to be relooked at. So you need good Wi-Fi routers, you need bandwidth available to you. Another area which is extremely important, which needs attention, is security. Because if you're working from home, you need a secure environment so that nobody can hack into the system. And these are all new things for customers in India. And if partners who can excel in these areas, they will automatically get business on these new opportunities that are coming up. And the other part related to work from home is that we are offering a complete package for furniture. We've set up a division called Iris Woods, and we are offering desks, chairs, any of these items that are required to set up an office in the house. And this has come up because we found that most people are using either their beds to sit on and communicating or chairs which are not comfortable. If you're going to be working from home, it's important that we make the customers happy as well. So these are some of the areas that our partners can look into and expand their business, because this will then help to offset some of the revenue losses that have happened. And I do believe that this is an opportunity which all of us should focus on and take it quick, because it's not going to be there forever. It's a quick market, quick return, and it's worth pursuing it diligently. Over
Okay,
to you.
sir. So, yes, sir. Thanks, sir. Definitely these are the verticals where all the partners who are listening to us can find out the extra resources to have the businesses which they have already suffered. But these are the areas where they can work, and they can get in touch with distributors like you who can guide them to have this new business with them. So, the opportunities, there are a lot of opportunities in component side as well. Vinay sir, you might be aware about that. So as the business activities has resumed partially, we all are aware that the government has partially allowed us to do the business with all the guidelines, and we all have to adopt ourselves in this new environment. What change, Vanessa, we will see in the component business demand across all the market with these guidelines? What will be your advice for small resellers and partners so that they can focus on those product segment where we will see surge in demand post lockdown, particularly in IT component business side? Sir, your voice is not audible. Please check your voice, sir. No.
Can you hear me now, Rajiv?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, I don't know. I tried to change the headset, but still didn't work. Okay, so
It's okay. It's fine.
I think from the ASUS point of view, I looked at the business in two perspectives. One, as Khalid also mentioned, there's going to be in this 20% loss period, there is going to be a boom. So the demand that would come up during this period is phase one for me. So people who wanted a better router, a bigger screen, a mini PC, a small PC that had to be serviced but never serviced. So these kind of opportunities would be created in the phase one. So I would request to the partners that they should be equipped with this kind of opportunity that would come up immediately. Having gone through a bad phase, the partners would again come back to the component business. When they are building the PC, they also have to ensure that the PC has to be more on the quality terms, where they would not be able to give service on a hourly basis. When they are selling machines at a remote place, today those customers would never come back to them because their engineers would not reach them. Also, every system integrator partner at this moment has to also focus from having more of virtual space created for themselves. I wouldn't call an online space, but I would say a virtual space where the customer can connect with them. Their orders can keep coming in. Earlier, there was a lot of walk into the store, but now I am trying to be loud. I don't know, but why is this? I don't know. I had the
Yes.
same. I am not sure, but
Put
yeah,
put the
coming back
mic
to the,
put the mic near your mouth. It was okay when the
I
mic
Yeah, it
was
was.
near the mouth.
I think
Yes.
should be this way is better.
Yeah, much
Okay,
better.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Sorry about this, guys. So when most of the system integrators today have been sitting in their shop or going to the customer, that would completely change. That will not be the way. Be for any business. It is not something that it is only for a particular business. It will happen for almost all business. So we need to remember, how do we reach to the customers? How do we reach to our customers? That is important. So they need to have their virtual space. They need to have virtual technical support. They need to understand it is not uh, about just reaching to the customer one time. But most importantly, what I say, that they need to increase their portfolio of business. They cannot be saying that, okay, I will do this business only. I would be more in the component space. The business operations, like now Sanjiv sir and Khalid are already mentioned. There are so many things happening on the cloud. There are so many in terms of security. So the product diversification, the partner has to adapt. So today's the partner was primarily doing a motherboard business. I won't do my wireless business. No, you need to adapt to it because there is an opportunity for wireless. Each household on an average currently is needing at least 11 devices for a three member. So we need to understand, selling a 150 Mbps router won't make a sense. A 300 Mbps router doesn't make a sense. Something which is 750 and above will able to sustain. Otherwise, someone is downloading something, the entire house is on hold. So you cannot have a lockdown in a lockdown. So you need to ensure when you are transferring technology, when you are trying to educate the customer, give the right product. It might take time to convert the customer, but I would request my partners that it is one time sales. So probably you sold a router which was 150 Mbps, 600 rupees, 800 rupees. Now the customer might be cursing you from his place because he's not able to use it. In my house, I'm using close to 16 devices. I still don't have a problem. There is no bandwidth issue. We all have faced the reality when we thought network was good enough at home. No, network is not good enough. Screen 13 inches good enough? No, with 9 hours work, screen is not good enough. You need a bigger screen. I would recommend partners to increase their portfolio, more products, better revenue. Sanjeev sir already has given us the guidelines how they have diversified. He has been in the industry for 40 years, how they have diversified. I think this is the way to look ahead. You shouldn't be stuck to one business or one product line. There are a lot of opportunities going to come, lot of opportunities. We have created a different vertical in the work for the work from home. We have new products that are launched in the AIoT space. ASUS as a business unit, we only had two business unit, first system, which is notebook mobiles, and the component space. This year onwards, we created a separate BG group, which is for only IoT. That means that is the future. May it be healthcare sector, we already are there. May it be blood pressure monitoring, we have the devices. May it be smart home devices, we already have there. Maybe the robot, we already are in place. So we need to diversify. That is the only way to keep our businesses alive and profitable. And last note on this part, partners, please, please, please remember one thing. Having a better turnover is good for the balance sheet, but having a better profitability is good for your survival. Yeah, that's all.
Yes, sir. very means this is one point I would like to request all the partners to listen these to the last word what Vinay sir has said. It's very thoughtful to take mind in these things to have the entire roadmap for the post lockdown business continuity. So we are just now entering into our last segment of the entire discussion, which is based on uh, the tips and the support as a brands and as a distributor you can provide. And in this also, I'd like to start with Khalid sir. It's all about the tips and the support you can provide to your partners. So, what will be your, if you can count on those four small tips you want to share with your partners, or you want to share a support what WDC has initiated during this period to support more partners, so that they can come out of this challenge and be in the business continuity and step up for the business normalcy in their day-to-day life.
Khalid can't hear
Your
you.
voice is
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. So I think what I was trying to say is, before I go to the question that you asked, I think one thing that we all, all of us, from the vendor perspective, from the partner perspective, from the channel community perspective, we all have to acknowledge and understand is that we are practically now in the fourth industrial revolution, right? And artificial intelligence, you know. Uh, which is clearly seen as a segment which will continue to revolutionize economies, which will continue to revolutionize nations, which will change the aspect, has been actually accelerated with the whole COVID-19 pandemic, right? I mean, look at what we are doing right now, right? I mean, the way we are interacting, the way we are kind of interacting amongst ourselves, right? And all of this is based on a very, very strong backward integration between the big data and the fast data that is happening at this point in time as we speak as well, right? I mean, and it's very clear that data is by far the new oil, and I think we all need to recognize that and acknowledge that. With this, you can see how it has changed scenarios for different countries. I mean, think about it for a moment, right? Look at the countries that are, and it's very evident from the analysis that we see, look at the countries that have been effectively able to do contact tracing when it comes to COVID-19, right? You'll realize those countries have been able to effectively identify the infection rate and put the desired measures in place a lot more effectively than a lot of other countries. Now, once that is happening, look at what is happening in the entire spectrum from 3D printing perspective. I'm just going to pick up one or two segments. The whole design aspect and the whole production aspect of the 3D printing to print the PPE kits, to print the kits for the ventilators, and to react to the changing environment in a much faster way than a lot of other countries, is actually increasing the effectiveness and the performance of those countries, right? I think going in the future, Shetty talked about how ASUS has created a separate segment to look at IoT as an opportunity, right? I mean, those are critical areas that I believe that there will be a constant opportunity that will exist for the partners. While we are innovating, while the countries are innovating, nations are innovating, the industries are innovating, the adoption of artificial intelligence in their ecosystem is going to be far more higher than what it was the pre-COVID-19 era. And with that, it will bring in a lot more additional opportunities for the partners to engage in different product segments, different product verticals. I for myself see data and storage as a very critical component of that, because in order for IoT to be successful, in order for AI to be successful, we know that there has to be a very important, a very significant importance that has to be given to data, because it's all about data and analyzing data. In that space, you will realize that partners will have a lot of opportunity to pounce on. And this is not just from the consumer perspective, right? I mean, consumer and different various industry perspectives. To top it all, while these segments will continue to see strong opportunities, you also see products that are associated from work from home environment, right? Products that allow consumers to basically effectively use the technology. What's very clear is that in the current scenario, smartphone is not the preferred choice when it comes to work from home as a scenario. So people are adopting and moving on to larger form factor devices to enable the work from home. And again, the accessories and the components that come along with it will be very, very critical as well. The other thing that will also be very important, and Mr. Sanjiv talked about, is the opportunities in the healthcare space, right? The opportunities in hygiene industry per se, right? These are opportunities that the partners can definitely look at, because these will be significantly in demand as soon as the markets start opening up. Primarily because, not as a consumer, you would realize that once the lockdown opens up, we will all end up taking a lot more precautions than what we were taking in the pre-COVID-19 scenario. With that, a lot of opportunities will emerge out, and I think partners will have to continue to look at those opportunities. And then the most important part of it is to create the skill sets in house to deliver, or to operate in those opportunities, is going to be super critical for partners. So this is the time that I personally think that the partners should utilize to identify those opportunities and make sure that they're training themselves, their staff, and educating themselves and their staff when it comes to deploying or even selling those technologies that will be at the forefront post COVID-19. That's pretty much from my side.
Okay, sir. So definitely, so because there is a lot of changes in pre-COVID and post-COVID era. Uh, we all know that's a challenge for entire human existence, but the technology has helped us to fight this challenge very much, and tech has played a very important role in connecting all of us in this difficult time. So this will be part in coming days as well, and here is the opportunity for partners. Khalid sir, you also said about these things, so definitely they'll listen to this advice, and they will definitely think about this uh, in their roadmap. So moving to next, Sanjeev sir, if you can share something about the tips you want to share with your partners. You're a very strong partner network across India, because you're also known to the channel partners. How are you motivating them to stay positive about future of IT business? Because they might be thinking, they might be not having positive thinking right now because they have suffered a lot. So how you are motivating them? What all support you are providing to these partners who are your real strength in this current situation?
The basic fundamental message I would like to give all the partners is to remain positive, because I have I have no doubts in my mind that going forward, this crisis is going to be behind us. There are going to be opportunities which will come, and we should be there to take those opportunities and make turn this entire negative situation into a positive situation. I say this not just because I'm trying to be optimistic, but I've seen in the past there have been three major disasters that have hit us financially in the past. Last one was 2008, when there was a financial crisis. Lehman Brothers went out. There were such disastrous results in 2008. If you recollect, the Sensex in India dropped from 22,000 down to 7,000. But within 1 year, it caught up again. The earlier one prior to this was 9/11 in 2001, where everyone felt that this is a disastrous situation. We pulled out of that one. The third one was in 1974, when President Nixon was impeached. Everybody felt that America would be in a very bad shape, but within 1 year, they pulled out. So I have no doubt that we will pull out of this within a year. You will see that The Sensex will be back up. Opportunities will be back up. The flavors will change. Opportunity types will change, but they will be there. So I see no reason why we should be despondent. I think the worst is over. It can only improve. And as Khalid said, my final message to you will be training, training, training. Get your salespeople trained on how they can advise their customers to battle technologically this COVID that has hit us. There are opportunities. We should be there. And as far as we are concerned, we are looking that this year should be better than the last year. So, with that, I would like to wish all our partners the best in going out into the market and closing business. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thanks. There were some disturbances in between, but we listened much of words what you said, and I'm sure that the partners would be agreeing with you, and they will be with you in whatever the requirement they have. They can directly get in touch with you, and you can help them personally in getting out of this challenge, and you can guide them for a alternative business or the additional business in the same segment where they can cope up in the coming days. So, sir, this is the last my from my side. This is the last query for you, and that is all about the hope and the support you can provide to your partners, because the channel partners, especially in market like Nehru Place or Leamington Road, have suffered huge losses these months. How you have approached them in this tough time and supported them with possible help? What will be your tips or support for all your loyal partners across India? How you're going to help them right now when the business is getting normal and the operations has just started a bit?
So
Uh,
we can help them in two areas. Number one, we can make sure that they get the support from the OEMs.
Sir,
Like,
Sanjeev sir, yes, sir.
yeah, yeah, can you hear me?
Hello,
Hello,
Vinay sir, are you there?
can you hear me?
Rajiv, this is for you're checking with me or Sanjiv sir.
Okay, messages that are coming is that I am audible. So, Rajiv, am I audible to you?
Vinay sir,
Yeah,
are
yeah,
you
yeah.
there?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So I was saying that Rajiv had asked, how can we help our partners? There are two areas that we feel that we can help. One is if there are any opportunities, we can be the bridge between the partners and the OEMs so that they get the right pricing and they get the right solutions from the OEMs in order to convert those opportunities into business. And second area is that we are looking actively to analyze the opportunities and extend credit to the partners in this difficult time. Example, there was in during this COVID lockdown, we had one partner who had an order for 5 crores, and his total turnover was 3.5 crore for the year. But then we were able to structure that along with the partner by opening escrow accounts and ensuring that that payment comes is secure and it comes to us as soon as the customer pays. And we've executed that order, while all many other distributors turned the partner down, saying that we cannot give you this credit of 5 crore since your turnover is only 3.5 crore. So we are helping partners, small partners, build up. They can pick up large orders, and that's how they can improve their profitability and margins going forward. So, our message to the partners is bring any opportunities you have. We will help you close them. We will help you become the bridge between the vendors and the financial institutions so that these orders can get executed smoothly.
Okay, Vinay sir, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So, but your video is not clear.
It's still there.
So, okay, so you are able to see us, right, sir?
Yeah, I can see all of you guys.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Sanjeev sir, thank you so much. There was some, technical glitches that happens. You can even we have this first experience. We'll be taking care of all the feedback which we'll be getting technically, and we'll be trying to rectify for the next webinar. Very sure. And so, Sanjeev sir, thank you so much for sharing the opportunities which you shared and the credit term you shared with the partners. I'm sure that we have the recording version was this, and we'll be sharing with them to listen the things what you said to them. Uh, Vinay sir, just moving to you, the support you can provide to your partners in this tough time. You might have certain measures uh, which you want to share with the partners. Said this is the tough time, but we are here to support your channel partners. Do you have any plan to connect with them, or what you have done so far? So, on a positive note, if you can share certain uh, tips for them or certain support commitment from your side.
Surely. So I think before I say anything, I think the message should be tough times don't last, but tough people do. Okay. So in the last 2 months, as a brand, what we try to connect with the partners, every week we have our a day called as Product Day, where we gather in every region. The sales team would gather their partners virtually on a video call, and everyone has the leisure of time at this moment. So it was good sharing the products that will be coming as a new technology. So just to give you an update, Wi-Fi 6. I don't know whether most of the partners have heard about Wi-Fi 6 coming in as a technology. But then when we spoke about this, the AI mesh router, the kind of need that is there for this product, everyone was thrilled. So in the last 2 months, we have almost close to about 16 odd trainings via online itself. Then we realized I think it is too much of knowledge that we are sharing. So last week, we engaged with our partners to do a fun adventure. So it was a treasure hunt program that we conducted with close to about 83 of our partners on all online. So that's where we want to have the kind of connect between our partners. It's not all work. We also engage with our partners to have some fun activity. But my message to my partners is at this moment, this is a beautiful time to gather as much as knowledge as possible, product knowledge, skill set knowledge, talk to more OEMs, vendors, distribution, try to connect with them, try to get insight about how they are facing the situation. Don't expect people to walk to you to give you guidance. You need to walk to them to take any advices. I think this is the best time to connect, learn, get more inputs about how the world is changing. Probably at this moment, from the business globally, India is probably at the lowest rung in terms of business in the Asia Pacific. Other countries are doing close to about 80% of the business regularly. So, how are they able to manage? How the green zone should operate? How the orange zone should operate? I think this is the only period when we should be using the time to learn things rather than thinking too negatively. I think that won't make any good to us. We will all have our problems. Even when the business was going good, we had problems with payments. Now, with no business, we still have the problem with payments. So, how do we correct it? Are we selling the right products? Are we targeting the right customers? So, these are the things I think the channel should focus on. And as a brand, we would be very happy to connect with partners to talk about how to improve the skill set on products, on soft skills, anything that they feel is technology oriented and they want to have a leads up with us, connect on the new product line. Yes, I think we will be more than happy to reach out to them.
Okay. Okay, sir. With this, I'm sure that the entire ASUS partners would have listened to this, and they might got have the message from the leader whom they are, following, and listen to him very carefully. So these are the partners plan which he has already done, and he'll be doing in the coming future. So with this, we have even you can guys can see there are a lot of queries we are getting in the queries box. So there is one query which I was going through that was about the service. So because we are running out of time, I'm sure that you guys have already having certain next things to do. We are already 12:41, so within 5 minutes we would like to take a very good query which we have got is about brands service support. So I'm sure that Khalid sir, if you can quickly share, a partner has asked about how at this time where the movement is very little, and that there are the government has put in restrictions. So how you are assuring a best service, best possible support in certain circumstances for consumers? How partners can convey this message to customers that brand is here to support on the service front?
Yeah, it's a very important aspect of any business, right? And I think we all know that the fact that up until a few weeks ago, majority of the states were under complete lockdown. Literally, every state there was literally a red zone kind of a lockdown, and gradually things have started opening up. What was super important for us during the last couple of months was, even though the physical drop points or the physical warranty and service provided locations would have been impacted, virtually we had to make sure that we significantly increase the capacity to handle the customer support call volume, both from a telephone call perspective as well as from online perspective. And that's what we actually did. We made sure that from our virtual connectivity to our partners, it is in place. There is absolutely no doubt that during the last couple of months, especially the first few weeks of the lockdown, there were difficulties to engage on the physical front with the partners in terms of their warranty replacements and servicing for their products. But as we see markets opening up, the first thing that we are emphasizing on is to make sure that we keep an eye on how effectively we are reopening back our service and drop point locations. That's very important for us, right? And it's one of our key priorities at this point in time. However, from the call volume perspective, we've ensured that we've got a lot many agents which are available right now to address whatever customer care requirements are there. And the partner as well as the end consumer community perspective can continue to reach out to us via those mediums, right? So that has been pivotal to us. And as markets open up, the first thing that we are concentrating on is to make sure that our service locations, our drop point locations, are opening up effectively as well.
Okay, sir. So this would have been, given a relief to channel partners, because they all are aware about how the service will take care. But as a leading brand, I'm sure that you're going to take care of all the service challenge the partners are facing, and will be helping partners to serve the better in service front. Vinay sir, the same query for you.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And so, Vinay sir, the same query for you. ASUS has a large customer base across India, and now the market has opened up. There will be new buying, but there will be, the complaint for the older one as well. So how will be working for those queries you are getting, and you can assure your partners that we are here to support in this challenging time. Don't worry about the customer support. We are here. You just sell your product.
So I think on the website itself, we have mentioned that we have extended our warranty period by 30 days once the lockdown is open. So anyone who was facing problem with the product during the lockdown period, I think the warranty period has already been extended. More so, if you look at from the call center point of view, that is still operational. The only dilemma that we are currently facing, and I think this I need to compliment the partners and the end users, that they also understood that it is tough to reach to the end user at this time, and they have managed with the delays that is happening. But we are trying to have feet on street engineers who can go and solve the purpose, can help the customer's need for real-time servicing. But at this moment, most of the red zones, it's still a challenge. 60 to 70% of the problems could be solved on call, but for hardware issues, it's a little bit of a challenge that we could reach to the customers. And we are trying options to ensure that we can have the pickup and delivery of those products. But due to the restriction on the courier services, that also is creating a hassle. But I think that is up for another few weeks, and that also should be resolved.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thanks for sharing service assurance from your side on behalf of ASUS to all your channel partners. There are a lot of queries you can see in the chat box. We are getting a lot of queries, and probably we can one message I would like to share with Sanjiv sir. Sanjiv sir, There's a message for you, Sanjay Agarwal. I think he's Sanjay Agarwal. He's writing for you that great going, Mr. Sanjeev. Yes, medical and healthcare products are new big opportunity. I would need help from your division to set up my office dot my good wishes, Sanjay Agarwal. I'll just pass this information to you, but this is a message for Sanjeev sir. I thought to share with you. Okay, so there are a lot of queries. So quickly we can get one queries. I think that there is one query which we are getting from the AI part. Someone has asked about AI technology will now grow rapidly in India post COVID-19. So, Sir Khalid sir, how do you see that the WDC will prepare for this?
You know, as I mentioned a while ago when I was talking about the importance of AI and the fact that the fourth industrial revolution has literally begun, right? I mean, I think from Western Digital's perspective, AI is as a technology is driven by data. The effectiveness of AI, while you have your front end products that are used, and you have got a different products in the IoT space that are used, but data is literally the backbone when it comes to AI. When you look at AI, in essence, it's all about making sure that the data that is created is either in a big data environment or a fast data environment is churned and allows for rapid decision making. And I think from Western Digital perspective, with the portfolio that we have, we become a critical component of that entire industrial revolution that we talked about, right? We have products that literally fit in every segment in which AI would probably be impacting, right? Whether it is an enterprise, whether it is an SME, whether it is the consumer segment, right? So you look at our product portfolio, ranging from flash all the way to high-end drives that are used in high environment and high-end data centers. You'll realize that the Western Digital has the entire product portfolio that is available. So for sure, AI is going to be something that will bring in a lot more opportunity out there in the market, right? It's not only going to be AI is not going to be a segment which will only impact the high end of the market or the enterprise segment of the market, but it will also impact, and the opportunities will also be created in the mid-market, mid-level SME space, or even in the low level of the consumer rung space, right? So it'll be all about identifying those products and technologies that enable AI, making sure that the partners are training themselves and educating themselves. That's going to be super critical. That's going to be one of the most pivotal things that the partners will have to adapt to. Identifying the products that enable AI is going to be probably relatively easy. You'll be able to do that. Brands would encourage you to kind of adapt those products. But the success factors for the partners would rely on the fact in terms of how effectively they are able to train, educate themselves, and then basis that training and education, be able to deploy those technologies in various environments. And that's super critical, right? The success of post-COVID-19 scenario will be driven around that. And I think that I highly encourage the partners to endorse and embrace the same.
Correct. Okay, sir. So we are running out of time. So there is hardly we'll just add one. So Sanjeev sir, there is one message from you. You have a good following. I think so. Welcome, Mr. Sanjeev. Time has now changed. You look so dynamic and handsome. Even we realize so. So we should say this about to you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. And I think what is keeping me fit is the fact
we are just taking last 2-1 with the sir.
Yes, tell me.
I said,
So, Vinay,
I said thank you very much. And
can you query quickly is one of the trend? One of the
Sorry.
trend want to know what will be the future of work from home in India? So COVID-19 situation.
I think it's too. Sorry, this was for me or Sanjeev sir. I am not sure. the
Vinay sir, are
message
you
got.
there?
Yeah, I'm there. Okay. So, Sanjiv sir, I would answer this first.
Please go ahead.
Uh,
Please go ahead.
thank you. So, I think we still are.
You're not audible, I think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Sanjiv,
yeah,
Yes.
can
yeah.
you hear me?
We can hear
Yeah,
you.
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
We can hear you.
Okay. So, I think going ahead, I think we shouldn't be taking it too critical. Many companies have announced most of their entire next year would be staff working from home, but we need to see work from home into two different range. One is for those who are into software development and content development. For them, work from home is a very ideal scenario. But for sales, marketing, for hardware brands, work from home is a little bit critical. We will have to drive through this COVID with safety norms, precautions, 33% workforce, reducing the travel time, not engaging in too much of face-to-face interactions, having events. Everything has to go virtual,
Okay.
but work from home will not be a part of our life. This would actually be a very negative way of looking at it. No, we will be bouncing back. We would all go back to work. We'll all work from our desk. But yes, the interacting with our partners, our distribution team, or having launches and events, that would change drastically. That would be in a very different perspective. But work from home will not be the pinnacle or the point of workforce. It would restrict to some industry. Not all the industries can do that. Yes, Rajiv, still can you hear me? I'm done.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah,
You commented about the work from home trend, which will continue. Am I right,
yeah,
sir?
yes.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you so much. And so we are just running out of time. There are a lot of queries we have got, but we want to conclude this session. So, Sanjeev, sir, a one-line positive message from your side to all partners. Just one line, a positive message from your side, please.
We are at the bottom at the moment. We have no other place to go except up. And you please ride that wave going up. Be positive, be healthy, be smiling, be happy. That's the message I would give you.
Yeah. Thank you. Can you guys hear?
Okay.
Vinay, not able to hear you, and Rajiv, not able to hear you as
Sorry.
well. Seems like your
Ca-
screen is frozen.
Can you hear me now? I think I can hear all of
Yes,
you.
yes, you're audible now, but Rajiv seems to be pretty much frozen on the screen.
Positive, and we should
Okay, all right.
all
Well,
work in the right direction to bring our business on track. Here we come to an end of this program. I would like to thank everyone, especially Khalid sir, Sanjeev sir, and Vinay sir, for taking out time and accepting our invitation to be part of this first series of webinar, which is DT Beyond the Lockdown. This is our first success. Please share your feedback and valuable comments so that we can build this platform much more productive for entire technology business community. We know that there were some technical glitches. We'll be sorting out for the next webinar, sir. So thank you so much, and thanks for joining to us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
thank
you,
you,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank
Pleasure
Stay
you.
meeting
safe.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
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 Bye, sir. Take care.
Bye bye. Thanks.